everyone. Let's stretch. I don't know about you, but my body could really use it. I'm finding that all of the stress of coronavirus and just interacting in this new world is making me hold on to a lot of tension. So I thought that we could stretch it out in a quick stretch session. I have a few props with me. You can substitute for things around your house. So I have a yoga block. You could just use a book for this. Easy. I have a hand towel. And then I have a ball. I have a bumpy ball, but you could use anything. You could use a children's ball from Toys R Us. You could use a volleyball. I think this is a little bit softer than a volleyball, but it doesn't really matter. We're only using it for one thing. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is start with my ankles, and we're not going to do your feet today because that would require one more prop you don't need. So anyway, we're going to take your yoga block or your book, which you can't see up against me, but here, and you're going to put it on the ground, and you're just going to step onto it, and then drop your heels down. So let's see, I need to move back a little bit, and then just drop your heels down so that you feel a calf stretch. And then from here, you can bring your toes up, or your heels up, and then drop back down, except don't fall off like I just did. So drop down and feel a stretch. And then you can pedal the feet even. You might be able to get a deeper stretch that way. And just drop the heel. I've been walking a lot and taking a lot of stairs, so my calves are particularly tight. Did a lot of releves yesterday too. Anyway, do it one more time on each side. And last one. And then you can just let both heels drop down one more time. That should feel really good. Feels great for me. And then from here, you can step off. You can take your time and do that as much as you want. But we're gonna move on. All right, now from here, you are going to come down onto your back and take your towel. So, I'm just gonna move this. Come all the way flat on your back. Take your towel and one foot, and bring your leg up to the ceiling. And as you're here, I want you to think about your femur head, which is, this is your femur, your thigh bone. And I want you to think about it letting it drop back into the socket even more. You should feel like it's dropping straight back, and your pelvis should feel really heavy on both sides. And then from here, maybe that's enough stretch, or you could start to pull the towel toward you. And you should feel a deeper stretch in your hamstring, and frankly, I feel it all the way up the back of my leg. Take a couple of breaths here, and you can even point and flex the foot. That might change the stretch for you. Feels great for me. One more time. And then from here, take the towel and see if you can hold it with just your right hand if you're on your right leg. And then hold on to the floor, put your arm out to the side, whichever. And then let your leg fall out to the side for an inner thigh stretch. Keep the opposite hip down. If your hip is coming up, don't go quite so far. Take a couple of breaths here. Think of pulling the towel back towards you for a deeper stretch. And then bring it up. And now switch hands with your towel if you can. And take the leg across the midline. So now here, your hips should not be coming off. In fact, you should really think of pulling that side of your pelvis back onto the floor or table even more. So let this fall across, and you should feel nice stretch here. And then from there, once you feel the stretch, let your toe sickle, or your ankle sickle, so that the toes sort of drop down toward the ground. So they go in and down. That usually makes it pretty intense. And then bring it back up. And from here, you can bend your knee in and then straighten it out. And do 2 more like that. Bend it in, and the farther in you can bring it, the deeper hip stretch you'll get. And then 1 more time. And take it out. And just as with the calf stretches, you can do that as many times as you need to. It feels pretty great. Okay, other side. Same thing. Okay, so start with your hamstring stretch. Just to hold it here, think of the femur head dropping back into the socket. And you can point and flex a few times. So tight. And 1 more time. Good. And then from here you can switch. I'm on my left leg, so I'll switch the towel to my left hand, and I'm pulling back and opening out my leg at the same time, but keeping the opposite hip down. And as you're doing this side, think about, or just pay attention to whether or not each side feels different from the other. And this side definitely does. My left side is not nearly as tight as my right. And then bring your leg up to the ceiling, and then switch. That's totally normal. Everybody's body has asymmetries. So let the leg come across the midline here, and then drop your toes. Sickle the toes, sorry, I guess. Sickle the toes so the toes come down toward the ground. So it's really just that my ankle went gunk, or if you can see it better that way. So it's like, doo. And then bring it back up to center. And then hip stretch. So just think of bringing this in and then straighten. And the more you bend in, the deeper the hip stretch you'll get. Interestingly, this side didn't feel as tight until I got to this part, and now it does. And 1 more time. Good. Okay, let's take the towel off. Wherever. Now, you're going to bend your knees. Take your right ankle over your left knee. And then from here, you are going to bring your knees in toward you, or your left knee in toward you. And I put my right hand through the triangle and then clasp the hands behind the left thigh and pull in for a piriformis stretch. And breathe. And see if you can bring it in a little bit deeper here on the exhale. And then take it down. You can hold it longer if you want. And switch to the other side. Oh, wow, so tight. Okay, so pull in, breathe. One more time. And uncross the legs. And you can come all the way up. So come up and then just reach for your toes. Drop your head. And then come all the way up. Okay, so if you have 2 yoga blocks, which I happen to have, you can do this, or you can use books again. Take your yoga blocks, so they're vertical, and place them down like so. Now, you're going to put yourself in a lunge position like this, and then the yoga blocks out by your sides. From here, I want you to just slide the hips forward. If you need to send the knee back a little bit, you can. And then just lean into the stretch. So what you should feel here is this long line from your hip bone to your knee, and it should feel like an opening right through here. And you can hold on to the blocks for balance. If you're feeling pretty balanced here, great. You can take, so I have my left leg back, so you can take your left hand to the ceiling, keeping your shoulder down. And from here, you can reach up and over for a lateral flexion. And then come back up. And then from here, tip your head back and try to make this come less from your neck, which mine probably is, and more from your thoracic spine. So kind of right behind your heart, tipping towards the ceiling. And then you can even reach across and rotate the ribs. And then come back to center. And from here, you're going to shift the weight back. Tailbone goes back, foot is flexed. And more hamstring and calf stretch here. Try to keep your back as flat as you can. And then come all the way up. And we'll switch to the other side. So step the other foot forward so that you're in a lunge. And then bring the back knee back as much as you need to facilitate your pelvis shifting forward. Should be in a nice long line here. Just take a few breaths for the hip flexor stretch. And then if you're feeling pretty balanced, you can take, for me, my right leg is back, so you can take your right hand to the ceiling. You should feel a little bit of a stretch right there. And then you're just gonna come up and over. And then come back to center. And then from here, shine the heart forward and come back. Good. And then come all the way back down. Great. Okay. I almost forgot the rotation, sorry. And then you're gonna reach across. You can just rotate here. And come back to center. And we'll take that away. Okay. Take your blocks away. And if you found a ball, I want you to bring it sort of right behind, in the middle of your spine, sort of right behind where your heart would be, but not over to the left. And you could take your book or your yoga block and put it behind your head. So the point of this stretch is thoracic extension, but also a pec stretch. So for me, because I'm elevated, I can take my hands together, touch my wrist, dive the arms out to the side and let them hang down like this. And then I can even stretch out like this. Take a couple of breaths. Now, if you have a pinky ball, which if you work with me in the studio, then you probably do, because I push that one hard. You can take the pinky ball and roll out your pecs, so kind of like right through here in this position. It'll be pretty intense. Feel good. All right, bring your hands back up to the ceiling. Now, that felt great, but I'm going to give you some modifications that you could do. If this is too much for your neck, which it is for some people, you can flip the block or the book so it's like that. And if that's still too much, because it is sometimes. You could turn the book or the block like that. And then as you take a few breaths, you could maybe take it down like that, and then finally, for me, I am going to take it here and then do one more stretch. So let the arms go out to the sides. Hang down, breathe. And one more time. And then bring your hands back up. Bend your elbows, bring your hands behind your head, tuck your chin to your throat. Come up to about here, bend your knees. And then you can come all the way up. Sit up nice and tall. And we'll do one more stretch and then I think we're done. Let's just do a cat-cow. So come into quadruped, tuck your toes, or leave them flat, whichever feels better for you. And then you're going to just send the tailbone under, pull the belly button in and around. And then start to send the tailbone back. And sit bones wide. And then start to roll through the spine again. Roll back out, taking the sit bones wide. Really think about spiraling the humerus, which is the top part of your arm, spiraling them out, and then shining the heart forward here, and then one more time, cat. Good. And now from here, sit down. You can sit in any position. If this feels good, you can sit like this. I have one leg crossed in front, the other in back. Or you can sit with your legs dangling down. And then from here, just bring one arm out in front of you and pull it across. And then come back to center and switch, keeping the shoulder down the whole time. And switch. Actually, don't switch. Be done with that. All right, now we're going to finish with just a neck stretch. So I like to take my feet down, sitting like this. You can do it in a chair, you can sit on your bed, you can sit the way I was sitting before, whatever you like, it's up to you. All right, take one of your hands, my left hand, I'm turning the fingertips in, and I'm going to sit on them. Sit up nice and tall, bring this hand up and then over, and then from here, just let your head drop over to the side. And then you can start to turn your head, still pulling a little bit with your hand, and start to look down toward the opposite knee. It'll just change the stretch a little bit. The muscle that you're stretching right now is, well, in this position, I'm really stretching my sternocleidomastoid, a little bit of my upper traps. And then sometimes people like to look up like this, and that feels good too. I don't feel much when I do that. And then you're gonna switch. And sit up nice and tall, arm to the ceiling, bring it down, and drop the head over to the side. And then start to drop your nose down in a diagonal toward the opposite knee. And you can look up. And I feel that more on this side. Good. And then take your hand up and just roll your shoulders a few times. And the other way. And then maybe you want to look side to side. Whew, feels good. All right, we're all done. Thanks.